Then we'll be able to make an offer, and once we have everything finalized, we'll be able to make an announcement to the congregation. We anticipate, fingers crossed, that we'll be able to make that announcement on Sunday, March 29th. All right? Thank you. Sorry, I'm sorry, Shelley, hang on one second. Rich and Linda, do we have a microphone set up for questions? Shelley has a question. And everyone, please make sure to use the microphone because we are streaming this and people who are online can't hear you unless you're using the microphone. Go ahead, Shelley.
Okay, there may be some people who don't know what the UUA is. Would you mind explaining to those folks who, haven't been here as long as me?
Sure, yeah, I'm using that lingo. Thank you, Shelley. I appreciate that. So the UUA is the national UU, so it's the Unitarian Universalist Association, right? Association. They are the ones who they provide a way for the candidates to apply. So the portal that they use, there's an applicant portal. We posted our opening, gave a wonderful description of us and our congregation, let people know what we're looking for, what size we are. I have to say, the candidates were thrilled about our Burn the Mortgage success. And so we're really hoping that we'll have some pledge reports to be able to share with them upcoming. And then, so it's through that UUA, that national UU organization, that the process is hosted, I guess. Yeah, thank you, Shelley, I appreciate that. Yeah, I should try to remember that sometimes people need that clarification. All right, any other questions? Awesome, I will give it back to Marion then. Thank you.
Hi. Thank you to the committee for the time, care, and thoughtfulness this process requires. Ministerial search in our tradition is grounded in our commitment to democratic process and shared discernment. It reflects who we are and who we are becoming. So, it's now my pleasure to formally introduce our new congregational administrator, Sharena Sacker. Strong congregations depend not only on vision, but on steady and capable administration. The systems behind the scenes, communications, finances, facilities coordination, allow our ministry and mission to flourish. Now, we all know that we have Susan Catzaro, who is now retiring at the end of March, and we are all preparing for that party that's going to happen on April 18th. And RSVP to Denise. The information is in the newsletter, so please RSVP so we have enough food for everyone. So, after a thoughtful search by the search committee of Ellen Bartley, Larry Mazza, and Rich Hall, we are very pleased to welcome Sharena. Sharena is a graduate of Stony Brook University, where she received her BA in psychology with a minor in business administration, focused on accounting. So we have a lot of Stony Brook people here. Okay, who works, goes, who's graduated? Yep. So we have quite a few people. We have professors, retired professors. Oh, look, professors in the back. Yes. So what stood out to us was Sharena's organizational ability, along with the knowledge of technology and, most importantly, experience with QuickBooks. One item on her resume that caught our eye as an indication of the type of person she is was that during the COVID-19 pandemic, Sharena was a co-founder of a nonprofit that's provided support to senior citizens in Long Beach. During that time, they provided food support, they provided, all the essentials for the senior citizens living in a complex. She's been working with Susan this past week, and everyone is very impressed with her. So, again, you already clapped, but please join me in a warm welcome. Thank our final item is a report from the Committee on Ministries regarding the circle discussions held in November. Those conversations created space for listening, especially across different experiences and perspective. Healthy congregations don't avoid difficult topics, and we all know that. We're a pretty healthy congregation. I have to say, I love this place. We create space for them with respect and honesty. So I invite a representative from the Committee on Ministries to share a summary of what was heard and any next steps. Here, Joanne, do you want to take the microphone? You don't want to come. So Charlie, could we get...
Our committee is composed of other people besides myself. Karen Posey, who's done a lot of outside work. Karen, do you want to stand, please, so that people see you? Karen Fernsler, she's here. Karen Fernsler, valuable member, like me, been around since mid-70s or something like that, or no, probably longer. Justin Johnston, who is not here. I don't know if this is on or not. Justin Johnston is not here, I don't see him. Wonderful new member of the congregation, professor of English at Stony Brook, very valuable person. Gilda Candela. Gilda, we all know Gilda. Also with a lot of insight. And last but not least, Harry Fleischer, a new person in our, relatively new person in the fellowship. Okay. Okay. We all met together on November 8th of this past year. And we were led by Reverend Dave, a wonderful Reverend Dave. He's a wonderful leader. He really helped us, get organized and ask the questions. First of all, the mission of the COMC is, for this year, is to provide to prospective ministers, as part of the search process, a snapshot of who we are, who the fellowship is at this point in time. I mean, we might not be the same people 20 years from now, and we might not be today who we were 10 years ago. This is who we are now. So as part of this process, we all met, and we met on November 8th, as I said. The number of people escapes me. You mathematicians, I know I wrote down, it was 25% of the congregation. So that's a real good representative sample. The questions were, to get at the essence of who we are is, number one, first question, what is the most, or was the most powerful church experience you have had, whether here or anywhere? What moved you? What do you remember as being, it was just wonderful, it made me feel, made me feel fulfilled as a person and part of a whole, which is the most important thing. I know for myself, it was one of the most powerful experiences was a memorial service for a very young child. I would say the mid-90s. And that pulled me over. Yes. Hold it. Oh, okay. That bowled me over. I was just, when you're so moved, you're shaken. I was almost ready, I don't want to say to explode, but I was just so profoundly moved. It was just so touching. So that's a big one for me. Our memorial services, as you know. So the most moving experience you've had here or any other place. And second question, what does your spirit need? What do you need right now? What are the practical needs that you have, that you can identify, that can be realized by a member here, by being a member here? Think about it. It's, what do you need? I mean, it's kind of hard spiritually as part of a group, so a lot of you were very similar in your responses. Thirdly, the public ministry. How do we want to be seen in the world? so that people look around and they say, oh, Stony Brook Fellowship. You know, that's us. That's who we are. How do we present ourselves? What's the word? Public witness. What's the public witness? There's a No Kings protest demonstration the end of March. You know, do we want to have a banner and identify ourselves, or identify ourselves in some way? This is who we are. This is what we stand for. That's the third one. You can think of other things. There's something this afternoon, the term I'm forgetting. Maybe somebody here can help me. To sing for immigrants. Sing. What's that? Sing with resistance. Okay. There's other opportunities, and your newsletter people are getting those opportunities out, which is wonderful. So we can read about it, and we'll, know what to do. The last question we asked of you was, what do you want in a minister? What's most important? What are the most important things you want as our, in our characteristics, in our new minister? Do you want a theologian? Is that the most important thing? Do you want an administrator? Do you want an evangelist? Do you want a counselor? Do you want a teacher? What's up there for you? Anyway, you responded. Multifaceted towards that. So what were your answers? Bear with me, I know it's getting long-winded and you'll probably want to get home. What were your answers? In response to the peak religious experience, your peak religious experience, it's centered around connection. What you do in connection with other people. What was big? Well, for some of you old timers, it was being a member, or being a participant in the 1890s fair. Now we stopped that in 2009, so it does go back a few years. But we would put on skits, we would put on singing things, which year after year. But we would finish it, and we would do all the cooking ourselves. I mean, it was just this big project. And when we finished it, I think Ed was in charge. Well, he was in charge a lot of the times. He certainly was the money guy. And he would come out with what we made. And it was always, oh, we did this. And, we're struggling. And it was always very exciting to see, to get the final product, if you will. So that was big. Services, I mentioned memorial services. The services we had, Dia de los Muertos, several months ago, people were moved by that. So Sunday services which touch our soul, touch us inward, so we feel it, and we not only feel it, but we're together in it. So it has that kind of a magical spot for us. The Sunday services, etc. Anything which was the climate march. 2014, do you remember that? Those of you who went? That was quite a day. We went, took the train in, and it was a long day. And if it's this march I'm thinking about, we stood around for a while, but we were part of a whole, part of the whole. And then we finally marched. It seems like forever. It seemed like that took forever, but we were doing something important, and our former minister, Margie Allen, was really instrumental in that. So the climate march was big. Some of you may remember your own answers to that. What does your spirit need now? Again, this was big. Most of you, a good portion of you, 90% of you, wanted to do something in the social justice area. Something. Do something. What can we do? You talked about driving people to the St. James Church in Setauket, and they had a soup kitchen there. I think it was monthly. But they talked about driving people to this. We talked, some of you talked about participating in the soup kitchen in Port Jefferson. Do you remember that, at the Lutheran Church in Port Jefferson? The welcoming congregation. Yes, I think that was John Morris, who may or may not be here, who organized that. So that was a big effort, and it was doing some good. It was just, we're singular atoms here, or, cells, but participating in the big event. That came across. That came over. Lots of you said that. So political action on the congregational level, which has an outward impact. You also talked about a presence in the community, something obvious, something which puts us out there. I know we talked about, that's okay later. Presence in the community somehow. We talked about signage also. Something, having a sign, a signage in the front, which would be more than, but something which would say, this is what we're talking about this Sunday. This Sunday is this topic. Somebody's coming today to talk about attention or whatever it is. We have wonderful Sunday services. Something to grab people. And I know you older folks, we've done this before, but talked about it before, but this was really came across to, a lot. Reverend Dave helped us with this, but this also came through. Monthly social justice. What can we be known for on a monthly level? Besides, holiday time, toy time, going back to school time, what else? I mean, he said we last met in January. So what's January noted for? What are we doing in January? What's the next month? What's coming up March? What's important in March? What can people rely on us for? Or April, something with spring, something with hope, or I don't know, just something every month where we are focused on. You also talked about identity groups, groups for older folks. I think there seem to be a lot of those. Not only a lot of, older folks like me, but opportunities for us older people. But parent groups. You remember, some of us who remember parenting? I mean, that was a big part of life. Parenting groups to help us, if we don't have the skills, develop the skills or develop resources, for helping ourselves. So something, identity groups in that regard. Younger people, single people. We used to have a singles group many years ago, and we had that for many years, and that was quite a source of income for us as well. So something to help people. I'm almost done. The third one was, what should our public ministry look like? Well, as I said, advertise ourselves more. I know that costs money, but some effort at putting us out more than we do, more than the signage we do, more than, I know we have Grounds and Sound sign, but something out there every week. This is what we're doing. This is who we are. This is what we're going to talk about. Now, lest you think this is going to just stay on this piece of paper, you wanted a soup kitchen? A lot of you thought soup kitchens would be a real good idea. One of our members is following up on that idea, or that, she's looking at me. Anyway, you want to say a word or two? Or? No? Okay. She does. Just a word.
Very short. We're working on it. Thank you very much.
She is working on it. And is also working on, I know we had other ideas too, in terms of structured programs which would involve the outside community, programs to bring in the outside community so that we can discuss how we can get along together in this very fractured time. It's a very hard topic. How do you talk to somebody who thinks very differently from you? And as it happens, Karen has done a little investigating there. If you would maybe say a word.
George, you want to say something? Well, we went to a Braver Angels meeting and it was very interesting. At first, I was afraid to go in the door because I thought it would be scary. But Braver Angels is people from both sides of the aisle having debates and speaking with each other in a way that is non-confrontational. And it's very, very structured. And we got to listen to both sides, and everyone left with good feelings. And then I went to an hour and a half meeting where they give you some information about how to learn to speak with other people. And one thing that stuck with me was, don't try to change their minds. Listen with openness. Find common ground. Because during this terrible time, we need to do that. So I'm interested in pursuing Braver Angels or crossing party lines. I know a few other people have too, but it's worth checking out. Thank you.
That's a big job. We have other members here who may want to add to what I've said because you all had a group. Children? No? Just a word.
So my word is that all of these things sound really terrific, and what we came away with is that we need to come up, all of us, with ideas, with practical things that we can join and do to be part of and to get this ball rolling. It's not just that we have ideas. We need to find practical things that people can jump onto. So we will be calling on people to at least give us some of your ideas about what can we actually do. For example, we want to get a greater relationship with the university people, the students. How can we do that? Well, we need to make our presence known. Well, what would that entail? So we need your input to say, okay, we're going to do this. And who would like to help us do this? We'll go to the university and we're going to set up here and talk to the students. And the big thing was that we weren't going to proselytize and tell them so much what we are, although that's part of it. But we need to listen, as we heard today in the service. We need to listen to see what do they need? What can we provide for them? And that would be a liaison kind of an activity so we can get more interest in our group.
Thank you. How could I forget? Yeah, Stony Brook, yeah, some kind of campus presence. Justin Johnston, our young member, sounds like an old lady, but he is working on that. Justin is. Okay, the qualities you want in them, you want everything in a minister. Preacher, counselor, visionary, those a mensch would be nice too, somebody you can talk to and yakety-yak with and feel free and everything. Okay, one more member, Karen Bursar, don't want to forget you. If you would like to add something that you remember from your group that I may have forgotten.
But I do want to draw your attention to, I believe it's in the newsletter, that when our David is here next week, that he is going to have groups again, and maybe we can take this a step further and other people will have the opportunity. I think he is a wealth of information, and we might as well use him while we have him. Thanks.
A wealth of information and a wealth of energy. Really just an incredible person. Our last person, Carrie? No, okay. Carrie's our last member here. Okay, that's about it, everyone. I hope that this hasn't bored you too much. I know you're late and you want to get home or do something else. You've been a most attentive audience. Is there any questions? Okay, it sounds like I guess we are having circle groups next week. That's a week from today. Reverend Dave will be with us, and we'll talk about something else important. I think maybe something to do with how we spend the legacy money. Mary, are you around?
Yeah, I'll speak about that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Joanne, and thank you to the COMC. For a while, because we have acronyms, I actually didn't know what COMC was. I'm like, oh, Committee on Ministries for the Congregation, because we didn't have that in our congregation. And then also, I remember last year, was it last year, the year before, when the COMC had all the committees, all the walks and the movie group. And so it was a very effective, because they there was a decision made to follow through on those items, and we still are here now. The COMC is again doing the work for our congregation so that we can understand what the members, what members want, what our congregation wants, how we want to be portrayed, and then how to effectuate those things. So I appreciate the work that they do, and everyone who leads any of the groups. So yes, next Sunday when Reverend Dave is here, the Legacy Committee, which is made up of 3 members from UUFSB, the Sayville congregation, which is Robert Garisto, Jennifer Green, and myself. I'm actually, yes. And then the 2 members from this congregation, who's Peg Espinola and Rich Hall. And so we've met, and we're looking at, we'll have $600,000 for a social justice fund. And so those monies, the goal is to use the interest from that each year, and that's about $24,000 a year. And so we want to work out a mechanism, right, or a process for how the congregation will decide to use those funds in the coming year, right? So it would be something that would be adopted at the annual meeting. So this annual meeting, the congregation will adopt a plan that we present. And so next Sunday is to have circle discussions. So they're not the specific, but we get feelings out, we get thoughts out, and then to use that information towards the process, because we have options of how that money is utilized, right? How we, utilized or dispersed. And so we'll have a committee that's going to be managing that, but ultimately the congregation, the process would be that each year the congregation would make a decision at the annual meeting based on a proposal from the committee. That's how we're seeing it now. That could change based on input, but at least initially that's what we're looking at. But we have this resource, and we have the ability to do some of the work that was brought up in the November circle discussions. So I hope you're able to join us next Sunday. And so I guess, are there any questions regarding that or something else that anybody has for the board? Yes? Go ahead. Jeff?
Kelly and the boys had an opportunity to go to see a movie this afternoon with some of their friends from RE.
Okay.
So I elected to stay here for the meeting. If anybody happens to be going down to the South Shore, I need a ride to Bayport. If not, I'm happy to take an Uber.
Oh, I can. John? Oh, he's another Bayport.
Just come see me after. Thank you.
He's another Bayport resident. But yes, see, carpooling. We can do that. Right? It's just that I get up at a different time than Barbara, or, we live around the corner from each other, Barbara Copley and I. But, okay. Is that, well?
I just have a quick
Sure,
rhetorical
buddy.
question.
Yes.
Oh, I don't need that.
Wait. We know. But we want to respect our folks that are watching the streaming of this.
Hi there.
Hello.
This is a
Hello,
rhetorical
Claudia.
question. I just wanted to know why we're such a damn great congregation.
Because of people like you. So great. All right. So as we close, I want to name something simple. A congregation is not held together by agreement. It is held together by covenant. We don't promise to think alike. We promise to stay in relationship. We promise to act from our shared values, respect for one another, care for this community, integrity and leadership, and hope for what we are building together. Transitions are part of congregational life, and boy, do we have a lot of transitions this year coming up. What matters is how we move through them. May we continue, not perfectly, but faithfully together. Thank you all for being here.